Who
You
is
can watch it.
so 0 plus, you're owing 2 naira here and you have 9 naira here, right? You're in your pocket, you're paying 9 naira. So automatically, when you pay, the person will give you a change of what? 7 naira. So your answer 0 plus this is 7. Why? Okay. So that you have as that. Well, that would take me to one of the next concepts, which is very critical in algebra because you will be meeting it possibly every time when you're solving algebra. Very easy. It's called expanding algebraic terms. Very easy. It's a very simple concept. Now, it's just the idea of expansion, which you've done, but you have to be very careful with it. A plus B into C plus D. This is what we have. Now, you see that these are two expressions multiplying themselves. Now, as it is, with the knowledge we have of expansion, it means that there are two ways you can solve this. Number one, this means that A plus B is multiplying A plus B is multiplying this. This thing can mean that this A now will multiply everything here. So you now write C plus D. Then put your plus sign plus this B now multiplying everything here again. Then it now becomes like the previous one we did. You can easily expand. A times C is AC plus AD plus B times C is BC plus what? BD. Okay? There is no common terms here. You cannot do that. So we leave it like that. Or some people will go like this. A plus B, C plus D. Depending on your speed. Now, what this thing means is that you have to be careful with this. A will multiply everything here. Okay? Now, then B will also multiply C. And B will also multiply D. So let's solve it. Let's see. Now A times C, which is this first one, is AC. Plus, this plus here, this one we're referring to. This A now multiplying D, we have AD. Now this next one is the plus. Plus B multiplying C, which is this, is BC. Then the next line is B plus here. B multiplying D is BD. So you see the person actually have the same thing just on a single line. Okay? It's something you can do depending, but this requires a lot of practice and you following the step. But whatever step that you choose to use, it's okay. Okay? Now, let's look at an example. 6 minus x into 3 plus y. All right. We can use two methods, but let's start with the first method. So 6 will multiply everything here to be 6 into, let me just change the color so that when we're solving, we know we're using another method. So 6 into everything here, 3 plus y, minus x into 3 plus y. Are you seeing it? Then 6 times 3 is 18 plus 6 times y is 6y minus x times 3 is 3x. This negative now times positive is negative. Then x times y is xy. So you look at this. Is there any terms that we need to collect that is the same? No. So the only thing you can do is to rearrange it and say 6y minus 3x minus xy plus 18. If you wish, you can do that. Or let's use the second method. Or I can say that 6 minus x, 3 plus y. Now, I can go 6, multiply everything here. 6 times 3, I have 18. 6 times plus y, I have plus 6y. I believe you're seeing what I'm doing. Yes. Then we'll go to this. Now, note this. This is now negative x. Negative x times 3. You have negative 3x. This is negative x times positive y. Negative times negative, a negative times positive is negative. X times y is x, y. You see, we got the same result here. So you can just typically just arrange it anyhow you want. Depending, anyhow you want to arrange it. So there you have it, as easy as A, B, C, D. All right. Number 2, let's say you have 2m plus 5n into p minus 3q. Now you don't need to fear. Okay, you don't need to get anxious. Just follow the step. If I just take this, I think let's use this method. 2m going into p minus 3q plus what? 5n into p minus 3q. You just expand. 2m times this, it will be 2mp minus 2 times 3, you have 6. M times q is mq plus 5 times 5n times mp and times p is 5np. Now, positive times negative is negative. 5 times 3 is 15. N times q is nq. I believe there is nothing I believe there is nothing similar here, so that we can add. So I will be doing one that is very, very okay. Let's do one that we can add so that we see how it works when you collect like terms. So let's just do this one before I go to the last one. Now, when you're solving this, we just do it the normal way. So this 5x into everything here, which is x minus 3y, then your negative y into x minus 3y. Just follow the step. Just know that this will multiply everything here. So we take them individually like that. Now we can now expand. 5x times x. So that is 5x times x. So I remember that 5 multiplies x. This is 5 times x squared. Because x times x is x squared. So you have 5x squared minus this 5 times 5x times 3y. 5 times 3 is 15. X times y is xy. Now you come here, negative y times positive x. Negative times positive is negative. Y times x is xy. Then you take this, negative times negative is positive. Y times 3y, this is 3y times y. This becomes what? 3y squared. So you have this. Now you note here that the only thing that we can be able to add here or subtract is this place, because these money are similar, right? You have xy, xy. And the coefficient here, the number here in front of this is 1. So I'm owing somebody 15 naira and I'm owing another person 1 naira. So in total, I'm owing what? 16 naira plus 3y squared. And that is what you have as the answer. Okay. Then the last but not the least, when you have number 4, when you have x minus 3 squared. Now, anytime you see anything raised to power to a number or something like this, b raised to power of 2, it means b times b, right? Or you have c raised to the power of 5, it means c times c times c times c times c. That does not take anything. So this thing means that x minus 3 is multiplying another what? X minus 3, right? So you can now go take this x, multiply everything. You have x minus 3 into minus 3 to x minus 3. So when you expand this, x times x is x squared minus x times 3 is 3. Now negative times positive, because this is a positive number here, is negative. 3 times x is 3x. Now this negative times this negative is positive. 3 times 3 is 9. Now you can look here and see that this is a similar money with this. They all have x. S squared is different from x. This s raised to the power of 1. This s raised to the power of 2. So they are not the same. But this x1, x1. So s raised to the power of 1, s raised to the power of 1. So we can subtract. So you're owing somebody 3 naira, you're owing another person 3 naira. So in total, you're owing what? 6 naira. And that is it. This forms a quadratic equation which you will meet much later in life. All right, so just to keep your memory, keep yourself active, you can try 3a minus 2b all square. You can also try 5h plus k all square, and then just try and play around with it, and then say 5a minus 2b. Now I have 2a minus 3b. That will work. Have you been taught factorization? All right, so in factorization, quickly do this. Factorization. Whoa. So in factorization, we would typically have factorization simply means writing an expression in terms of its factors. When we talk about factors, two factors of factor is a number that can divide a number, and at the same time it can multiply a particular number to give you that same number. The factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and what? 6 itself. Because 1 times 6 will give you 6, 2 times 3 will give you 6. So these are the factors of 6. But in this case, we'll be dealing with basically variables. So you just have to think about it as the opposite of the moving bracket. So instead of the moving bracket, as we've done earlier, we'll be adding the bracket ourselves. So let's see. It's a very simple step, very simple process. So let's say you were told to factorize ax plus 10a. Now, the first thing you have to do is to identify a factor. What I mean by factor, you start with sign, number, letter. This is it. Okay? Here is positive, here is positive. So obviously, what's common here is positive. Now, for number, what is a number that can divide 15 and also divide 10? So, or is a factor of 10 and 15? It's obviously 5. Now, you go to letter, which is the next thing. A is here. You have A here, you have A here. Now the number of A matters a lot. If I have A square here, that means I have A times A. So I have 1A here and I have 2A here. That means I can get 1A out of these two. So that means a single A is common. So but in this case, we just have 1A. So that won't apply. So we'll just pick only a singular A to do what we're doing. So A is common. X is just 1 here. There's no X here. So X is not common to both of them. So once you have your factor, this is now a factor, you now rewrite the equation back. Okay? Now, once you've rewritten the equation, you just divide it by your factor. Are you seeing how I'm doing it? Just divide. Then you now simplify this expression. You can just write this back. So simplify this expression. 5 here, 1. 5 here is 3. This a will cancel this a. So you're left with 3x. So 3x plus this 5 here, 1. 5 in 10 is 2. This a will cancel this a. So you're left with only 2. So this is the factor. We've been able to factorize it. This means that if these two multiply, it should be able to give us back this equation. Let me just do it quickly. 5a times this is 15ax plus 5a times this is 10a. So anytime you factorize and you try to multiply your factors and you did not get the same result, just know that your answer is what is very, very wrong. Okay? Because your factors should be able to give you back what your question or your expression back. So let's try this one. Don't forget the SNL, sign, number, and letter. So we have positive and negative. So there is no sign that is common. We leave that because this positive, this negative is not common. So we leave it. Then we go to number 4 and 2. What is the factor of 4 and 2? A number that can divide 4 and 2 is 2. Okay? So we'll bring 2. Now you see here is n squared. That means n times n, right? So, and we have one n here. So it simply means that we can get n is 2 here and n is 1. So we can get one n here. So n, just a single n is common. So is there any other thing? Nothing. So that is our factor. The next thing we repeat our expression inside. Then we divide by what? Our factor. You see it? Very easy. Then you just simplify that. Write your factor outside. 2 here, 1. 2 in 4, 2. Then n here, 1. N here. It will remain 1n. So this will be 2n minus. This will cancel. This will cancel. This will cancel. You have 1. So this is actually your answer. Now, if you expand this again, you should have this 2 times this is 4. N times n is n squared. 2 times 1, 2n times 1 is 2n. So you see, you got back the same answer. So that is it for factorization. I believe that should suffice. Okay, let me just add one more question. I believe this one would drive home the point. So minus 15x squared minus 10. So I have this. You look at this sign SNL. Don't forget this. It's very important. The sign. You start with sign. Negative is common here. Negative is common here. So since negative is common, negative is common, you put your negative. Then you go to number next. What's the number that can divide 5 and 10? And 15 and 10 is 5. X is square here. There is no x square here. There is nothing like x here. So 5 is our factor. You now rewrite the equation. 15x squared minus 10. You now divide it by the factor, which is minus 5. All right. And that is it. Very easy. Negative times negative is positive, which we know. So positive. 5 here, 1. 5 in this is 3. So 3 times x squared, you have 3x squared. So negative divide negative is positive. 5 here, 1. 5 here, 2. So this is 2. So at the end of the day, you have minus 5 into 3x squared plus 2. If this is expanded back, we believe to get back our answer. And this will be negative 15x squared minus 10. And that shows you that you are correct. Okay. All right. I think that will be all for today. Tomorrow, look into the rest. All right.